Phil Barrett. I'm the CEO of Utah Global Diplomacy. And for some of you that remember last year, we had fellows from Central America, South America, the Caribbean, and Canada here. They're business owners, and they stay with companies for a month doing fellowships as a way of scaling up their work. They can explain who they are much better than I can, but as a sneak peek, next week, we'll have a handful of them here pitching their businesses so you can learn more about who they are, and possibly some future collaborations. I'm looking at you, Chris. So, but can the fellows that are here just stand up and say hello so you know who they are? Yeah, we've got Jamaica, Paraguay, Brazil, Belize. Yeah. So, yeah, so make sure you say hello to them.
Thanks. So we're going to try to get some of them to present next week. They're all entrepreneurs and trying to learn from us, so if you have a chance to connect, that would be great. So for those that don't know, 1 Million Cups is a Kauffman Foundation program. So this banner behind me, essentially, it means that there's a network of these things across the U.S. So about 120 of them across the U.S. I don't know, it kind of goes up and down. So hopefully it's more by now. I think before COVID, we were at like 170 of them. So COVID had an impact for sure. But the idea is that on a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., you can find a group of entrepreneurs to connect with and learn. So each one's different. There was one in Provo. It moved up to Orem. So it's at the Orem SBDC. At UVU, so if you are down that way and don't feel like making the drive or want to check it out, I haven't checked it out because I'm here all the time, but one of these days I'm going to go down. Phil's going to host for us, and then I'm going to go down to UVU. What else? We've got sponsors. This doesn't work without our great sponsors. So Anthony from Underbelly, this is their beautiful space. Let's give them a big round of applause. Underbelly is a creative agency, and they do a lot of work for people with brands, websites, development. So they work with a lot of big businesses. You can tell how nice the space is because they really care about design. So if you're looking for any support or help on your brand, your logos, your website, even for startups, they've made smaller fractional packages because it's really expensive. And so by fractionalizing it and bringing the cost down, you can do all sorts of stuff. So Anthony's in the back. If you want to wave Anthony. If anybody wants to talk about that stuff, Anthony's the guy. They also do co-working. So if you want a spot to hang out for the day, they can. Their space is getting fuller, but they still got some open meeting rooms and different things. So you can talk about that too. But thank you, Anthony and Underbelly, for having us. Also, maybe I'll do this one and come back. Thanks to Steve and his friends at Moda Financial. So they've been sponsoring coffee for the month of March, and let me see if I can get the pitch, then you can do it. But it's, if your CPA is just okay, you should talk to these guys.
Yeah, totally. So this isn't me. This is one of my friends that I grew up with. He's a CPA, had done Big Four accounting, started his own tax and advisory firm, and his big thing was every single time when he started using an accountant for his taxes, it was like paying this guy, I don't know, $300 to $500, and they're just okay. Like, it's just more convenient than doing it myself. Really not much advantage. He's done taxes for large companies, small companies, everything in between. They're sponsoring coffee this month, mostly because it's a really important month, tax related. Big reminder, if you have a business, this Friday is a big day. If you need an extension or anything, reach out to them. They can get you taken care of. If you're an LLC sole member, not this Friday. It's the regular tax date. So little reminder on that. But if your accountant is just okay, check out Moda Financial. Find me. I can get you connected. They have pretty good pricing, and if you have like a reasonable business and your individual taxes are relatively simple, they'll just do your individual taxes free of charge. So cool guys, check them out.
That's why I got connected last week, because my stuff's complicated enough. So if it's complicated and your other people are just okay, reach out for sure. Okay, a couple of community guidelines, then we'll jump over to Riley for his first presentation. But If it's your first time, kind of the high level of how this works is we call it kind of a give first community. So you can make asks, of course, but it's more so give if you can. Everybody's helping. Jake's helping run stuff. That's how we make this work. But the main one that I highlight, maybe two, is the underline and bold one, which is about being friendly and kind. We can ask hard questions, but we can do it kindly. If you're having a hard time with that, we'll figure it out together. And Joel's here today, so I can bust his chops over it. But Joel loves a good softball question. Yeah, that guy. And softball questions aren't always that helpful. So I'll challenge you and Joel to ask a good hard question kindly. That's the hard part. So you can read a few others, meet some new people. We got some YLA fellows and others. Invite a friend. I saw people bring friends, so thank you for doing those ones. The last one maybe is sometimes we get excited and want to ask a bunch of questions in a row, especially when we're busy. So make sure to take turns, and also this one's not up there, but use the mic. Our hybrid friends can't hear you online if you don't have the mic, so it creates a weird dead space otherwise. That's it. Or right now, both are the same. Yeah. Just kidding. A little bit. Oz and I are okay today. And then our friend Jake in the back running the mingle. So thank you, Jake, for running the mingle. And how many we got online? We got 6 going today. So thank you, online folks, for being here hybrid with us. Okay, I'm going to switch over and hand it off to our friend Riley. So Riley's been a member of the community for a while. I don't remember the last time you presented. You presented, but it's been a while. Yeah, that's a good long while. Okay. Well, here is a clicker, and let's give Riley a big round of applause.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Riley Adamson, and I am the founder and CEO of a company called Cortex. We were established in 2015, and it's been awesome. It's been a super fun journey, and 1 Million Cups significantly helped me. So finding our first developer happened here, and also one of our key investors and advisors happened here. So literally because of 1 Million Cups. Only a little. But nights and weekends, my mind is plagued with other ideas that aren't in healthcare and are not healthcare tech. And one of them is this great injustice that not all athletes can be sponsored. I thought we need to sponsor mediocre athletes and not just elite athletes. So, yeah. I see a few that might, qualify and talk to me later. So I spun this up, just like ran some TikToks or ran some I don't know. I think this was more Instagram. And this one did not go so well, but we make little rock climbing, all sorts of swag, but this is one of them, rock climbing chalk bags. And then another one was that I felt like we didn't have enough really good MLMs here in Utah, like really good ones. And honest ones. And so I thought we should make ones, we should sell placebo pills at a premium, and non-essential oil. And so I thought, well, let's make Placebo X. We can really change some lives and help people financially, grow their downline. And so one of our most famous products are Thoughts and Prayers. And people always ask me, what's in the bottle? And it's empty. It's Thoughts and Prayers are in there. And if any of you are offended, I'm slightly sorry. But another time, let's see, is this going to go? Oh, here we go. I was walking my dogs in Salt Lake, and I thought, that well, I think it needs a religion. And so, have you guys seen the well? Are you familiar with the well? Okay, all right. And I thought, I think I'm being called by ChatGPT to write its religion. And so I was just a conduit with AI to create its religion. And so I maybe need to aim this. I was called to start the Church of the Sacred Well of 9th and 9th. We sell indulgences. So again, this trend of being honest. So we sell indulgences, and I don't know. Maybe you guys have seen these. They're kind of everywhere. So our new flag here in the great state of Utah, and I thought we might need one that's a little bit more colorful. And so here's this one as well. These over the last year, this has like been by far the thing that I've actually like shipped the most. Is these and the next one actually too. I thought we might need to make a few people angry and some other people very happy. So these have been really, really fun. I don't like. There's quite a few of these out and about in the valley. Another one was this was during COVID. Was that I thought we should write a book about my Aunt Karen. I have an aunt who's kind of a Karen, and so I have some over here, so you guys can check those out. But I wrote and illustrated this. And this one flopped. Like I think I had 1,000 of these made in China, and I think I probably only sold like 200 or something, maybe 100. And then another one that I'm working on is writing a book called The Satanic Supervillain. If anyone wants to, this is an ask. If anyone wants to pre-read it for me, that would be great. It's a 21st century guide to identifying the Antichrist. And then these are some ideas that I'm working on in the future. So just to give you guys a preview is like, the signs that people put in their yard. I just want one that's like the brainstorm was what would make the most people angry and the most people like super, super, super like actually going to go put this in their yard. So I think that this is one that I'm going to do. And then these ones are arriving today at my house, and I really wish I had these to give to you guys. And so, yeah, so these are my friends over at Alibaba are shipping these to me today, or well, they should arrive today. This was another one that, yeah, definitely made some people mad. These are just stickers, and I thought I needed some artwork to. So honestly, this came from the idea I really wanted to do something that said "Live, Laugh, Love," and I was like, what would be the craziest thing to make it out of? And I was like, Coke lines. That'd be perfect. So these are just stickers, and you can buy those, and I might have samples of those too. But anyway, so last year, I was like, all of these crazy wild ideas that I do like nights and weekends, I probably should actually make this official and have it under an LLC and not just me, because I'm kind of doing some risky things. And so I started Troll Factory. And so, yeah, if any of you guys want to join the Troll Factory, yeah, that's what I'm here today for. Is placebo? Yeah, you can join. There's, yeah, join the religion. Honestly, I'm not really sure which started. The question was, what did All Hail the Whale, which is this gigantic like Utah thing last year, and all the rain and moisture that came because of the whale. I'm not sure how much. I don't know if All Hail the Whale existed before or not. Although I did make a lot of stickers of that. And there was other people who were saying that they were going to like worship the whale before, but I'm pretty sure I'm the one who like made it any sort of official thing.
Awesome. So you ready for questions?
Yeah, how about it?
Let's give Riley a big round of applause. Looks like very engaged. Lots of chuckles. You didn't tell us how much any of them cost. That would have been helpful, I think, maybe. Or is there a website? Like,
oh yeah,
where do people buy stuff like this?
Just on my website, you can buy stuff, but you guys don't have to buy any. You can just get it.
Another product for your bottle in. I was raised Catholic, so holy water is public source.
Oh, okay. All right, I like that one. That's great.
Yeah. Questions, thoughts, feedback. So my biggest one is, how much money have you made from these? And like, do you have more? Like, what's your business plan around this? Besides having fun, which clearly you're doing, and
having fun is the main one. I think last year I made right around 50 grand from all of these projects. So
top line.
Yeah, top line.
What's
revenue.
your margin generally?
Oh,
60?
Well, yeah, no, probably more like 50. So, or less. It depends on how many.
Do you count your hours or not?
Don't work out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, when you buy 1,000 of the twerking tools, that definitely, yeah.
Inventory costs are real for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a real thing.
Other thoughts, questions, feedback?
Can you go back to your athlete?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not there, but I have I'm a sponsored athlete myself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
the reason being, I'm actually competing in the VA's National Golden Age Games. I can use sponsorships.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we can make that happen. Some people end up having to self-sponsor, but I can sponsor you. Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have limitless ideas, or are you looking to solicit ideas? I don't have any, but I have an idea about how to solicit ideas.
I have a whole wall in my house that I just like tape ideas, and I have probably more ideas than I can possibly realistically do. But if anyone has ideas, I'm happy to entertain them, and probably most happy to help you do it.
I wondered if there was a spot on your Troll Factory website for people to submit ideas. You might get a little viral participation, and
Yeah.
then you could pay people in product or give them a little kickback, or
Yeah, that's a great
or they could opt whether they wanted any money or any compensation at all. They might just love submitting ideas, but there might be an opportunity for you to. There might be some viral momentum that could happen with like an
Yeah.
online thing.
Yeah,
Online
I like that
submission.
a lot. That's great.
Coming to you next, Shaggy.
Imagine I have a large inventory of failed corporations' parkas. Could I go out and promote them with your sponsorship to be able to show of what not to F up?
That potentially, we'll have to chat
Okay.
because, yeah, a lot of
Some new sponsorship jackets.
swag. Yeah.
What are you doing to market most of these products?
So most of it is me just making stupid TikToks and I guess posting on Instagram too. But I've gone viral for quite a few different things, and then sometimes these projects have gone viral. But mostly I've gone viral doing like weird projects. Like I made a dog house for my dogs, and like that went mega viral. So, and then people hear stuff after that.
Nice. And is it all sold under the name of Troll or Troll Factory?
No,
LLC?
you guys are the first people to hear the name Troll Factory. The state of Utah wouldn't give me the DBA doing business as LLC limited liability company. That's literally what I really wanted to start with. They
Yeah.
wouldn't let me have that. So I had to pick Troll Factory.
Okay. And then so previously when you sold all these products, is it like different sites and such, or is it all under one
Yeah, and it
house?
still is basically just like I spin up each brand basically.
Would you consider selling it all under like the same website and social channel?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, like my main name is where I sell most of them if it doesn't fit under like a really good brand and like has a reason to have its own like Shopify page.
Okay. And then what was the website again? I think I missed the QR code at the beginning.
Oh, man, I'll have to give you my name is RileyAdamson.com is the easiest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to check those out. Sweet.
Yep.
Anthony, and then Oz.
All right. Two things. First, for the sign, I had a shirt years ago, and not to offend anyone in here, but that might be the goal. It was just Republicans for Voldemort. I think that would do it amazingly well as a sign. Second, there's someone who sometimes comes to these talk influencer. He's, you know who I'm talking about. He does the like fruit racing on a treadmill kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Jeremy,
Yeah, I talked to him here one time
Okay.
actually.
So
Yeah, he's good.
I know you're doing most of the stuff through your own channel.
Yeah.
Now that TikTok is pushing for shopping on their platform, have you talked to any other influencers?
No, I to be honest, I kind of got burned out, and so I haven't posted on TikTok for like 6 months.
That's
Really?
the beauty of other influencers. Let them
Yeah.
get burned out
Yeah.
promoting your brand.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Depends how the vote goes today. You might not have TikTok tomorrow.
Yeah. I guess the Republicans or the House already wanted to cancel it. So,
What's your Instagram and your TikTok handles?
just my name, Riley J. Adamson. O-N. Yeah. And those are probably the easiest ways to get a hold of me. see all my weird shit.
So, combination of a bunch of questions coming together here. Again, do you have a passion to make this a really big thing, or do you want to keep it a side thing?
I like the amount of time and effort that I would want to personally dedicate it to it is probably more around a side. Like, I don't think that this is going to be my full time. Like, I wake up every day and do this. I'd probably get burned out from that.
Right. Because I think you can
but-
create like a two-side, like, you know, I've probably got a couple funny ideas every now
Yeah.
and then. Something will happen. I'm like, oh, that'd be a great T-shirt,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
could sell like 5,000 of them, and then it's done. Never sell
Yeah.
a T-shirt again, right?
Yeah.
Like the one you have on now, that's pretty like timeless, but
Yeah.
like smart,
like
like
some-
just stuff that happens in the news and whatnot, just like funny stuff, like
Yeah.
would be relevant, right? And then there's also influencers on the other side that can promote it, so you can almost create a little bit of like you're just the guy that makes the stuff. Other
Yeah.
people come up with the ideas, and other people sell it. Your margins will be lower, but you'll do a lot less work, and your volumes will be a lot higher. So
Yeah.
something I would maybe consider, because I love the idea of Troll Factory, and it's like, hey, listen, I got. Like you have these meme generators, right? Like
Yeah.
I can just basically take a meme, put it on a T-shirt, and you can have it made and ready to be shipped. Like you already have those relationships, right?
Yeah.
So I would think to scale that if you wanted to.
Yeah, one of the coolest things would be somewhat of like a mix between like The Onion, where they just like must have a group of comedians get together and like make jokes about like today's news. Something like that would be super fun to like just participate in. Yeah, like a legit Troll Factory. That would honestly be super fun.
The Onion, and then the Babylon Bee too, which is like
Yeah.
the opposite. But I mean, one thing that I think some of those do well is like when they don't have, like it's not always the same view on
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? It's not always left leaning or always right leaning if it's political, right? Like
Yeah.
make fun of both sides and do stuff like that, and you generally like people like appreciate that. I think a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
I guess my last question, besides the normal one I ask, is like, what's your goal? You just having, I mean, are you going to try to sell more product that you have, or
It'd
you're
be
like,
nice if it was profitable. That would be a nice thing. And people got to see this like twerking tool. Like I can't wait for like all the people who are going to be angry about this. You know, or like if my grandpa got that in his like stocking, he'd be like, "What is this?" You know, like it'd be that. Honestly, it's like the reaction is by far and away like the biggest value. Yeah.
yeah, cool. Shoot.
Sure.
Well, it's really not quite. It's maybe a question. Have you ever seen the movie called The Magic Christian?
No.
I recommend it.
All right.
Yeah, last one is Steve.
Just being a contractor, I'm going to tell you the twerking tool, like get it in contractors' hands that they
Oh,
give
yeah.
to like their bosses or their friends.
Oh,
It will go. I
Sweet.
promise. That'll be really funny.
sweet.
So-
Okay, perfect. Yeah, a little like birthday like gag gift. Like most of my ideas are kind of a gag gift type of thing, a little bit. So sweet. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. With it, I don't have any mugs today, so I owe you one. But these underbelly ones are pretty cool. So we'll pretend
Sweet.
this is your magic mug. So 1 Million Cups, one of the things they do is they give us coffee mugs. And what I often say about them is they're sort of magical by themselves, but mostly because this community can do a lot of good for folks. So the question I always ask a presenter, for those that aren't normally here, and now we're using a substitute mug, but what could the community here do that would make a difference for Riley, for Troll Factory? How could we help? What would make a difference?
Yeah. Connecting me to people, or like someone connected me to a local shop, Cahoots, up on 9th, and they were awesome. So they have some of my stuff. Any connections would be great. Any ideas that you have, that'd be also awesome.
Connections for retail? Like what connections would be the most helpful at this point?
Like TikTokers, anyone who has like an audience really would be the most helpful to connect with. That would be the most helpful thing you could do. I'm sure there's other things that would be helpful too, but that's it.
Awesome. So if you know anybody that might be a good fit for Riley, connect the two and maybe hit them up on social. So, okay,
Awesome.
let's give Riley a big round of applause. Thank you, thank you. And Antonio is up next. Here's Mike, my friend. I'm gonna switch the two over. Boo. Maybe not quite as fun as Riley's. That's your mistake for letting him go first.
Yet.
If you troll as hard as he does, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Nah, he won that one for sure.
Riley, you got the clicker? Somebody's got the clicker. Clicker around here somewhere.
See, he stole the clicker. I'm more fun.
Oh, no. Is it working? Perfect.
Cool. Funny thing, I hate holding microphones, so this is going to be good because I'm loud enough already. But decided that it didn't really make sense for me to come here and try to sell you a bunch of garbage. So instead, we're going to talk about one of the things that I take some of the founders that I work with through, talking about emotional intelligence and how it actually relates to a lot of the metrics that we like to pay attention to. And we pretend like emotions don't matter when we run businesses. So going to be really focusing on self-awareness and strategic leadership. Just ran a bit of my background. Funny thing about this picture in particular, I actually lived in Utah the first time in 2019. And then I moved from here to Vietnam. And this picture was from a fashion magazine in Vietnam. It was when I started my very first business. I was helping with kind of a co-founder for a coffee shop out in Vietnam. It really is their thing. It failed absolutely miserably, and it was kind of fun still. It was really just an opportunity for me to see all the things that I thought I knew, like how we take all of these different theories, all these books that we read, and then we put them into business, and we go, that doesn't actually work like that at all. So shortly after, ended up starting 2 or 3 more businesses, all while I was traveling, and none of them really went well. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out why. And what I finally realized after starting Century Breeze, which is the company that I own now, is because there was no alignment. What I wanted to give the world, my particular gifts, my zone of genius, none of them were in any of those other businesses. So after realizing that, now what I do, I'm a business coach and operations consultant dedicated to transforming purpose-driven entrepreneurs from overwhelmed operators into strategic leaders. And it's really just a big word, a lot of big random words, but I really just help cool people build dope shit. That's kind of the point. So what we're going to share, it's a 5-step framework that I use to help new entrepreneurs and executives lean into emotionally intelligent leadership. Cool. The big things, just in case you want to fall asleep in a few minutes. Understanding and managing emotions, recognizing others' emotions, whether that be leading a team or trying to connect with your customer base, and why it's crucial for business success. There we go. So, improves decision making, essential for effective leadership, and links to entrepreneurial success. Long story short, if you get it right and you treat people like humans, whether that be your customers or your team, they tend to treat you better. They tend to stay longer. They tend to like your products a whole lot more. And it keeps the thing that you're building in line with why you built it. Because it's very, very easy. We come up with a billion different ideas. Your ideas are great, bro. But a lot of what can happen when we're trying to have real impact, it's very easy to stray away from the group that we originally built our things for. So, 5-step framework: observation, awareness, clarification, adjustment, and change management. If I can't see who I am, if I'm not paying myself enough attention, how am I going to serve the people that I want to make an impact for? And teams tend to leave if you don't know who you are. Just a lot of it. General awareness of yourself and others. Clarification. Why are we building this thing? As we are going into next steps, as we are creating more products, as we are expanding the business, are the things that we are doing to grow in line with who we are and why we started it? Even as we pick up more information, who we are at our core and why we're doing the thing won't really change much if we're in line to start with. Then the numbers that come with it. The businesses that I've gone through this with and others that I've seen in the space, employee retention significantly higher, But as far as churn for specifically, I work with a lot of service-based businesses. We're seeing client value, client lifetime value increase somewhere between 35 and 62%. Because people know, we know who we're looking for, we know why they're here, we know what we're trying to serve to them. And then it's just a simple question. When I talk about a lot of my travels, I spent quite a bit of time in Southeast Asia. And the point in naming my company Century Breeze, they introduced me to a really great concept about planning for dynasties. The goal being, if the thing that I'm building is not going to last 200 or 300 years, if the impact that I plan on making is not going to make it to my grandchildren's grandchildren, then what are you doing it for? And it's okay. Making money for yourself is a great option, and it's perfectly okay to build something that you're going to sell in a few years so you and your family are good for a few generations. But when we're specifically talking about purpose-driven businesses and having a mission bigger than self, this ability to think out this far does two things. One, alignment yet again. And two, it allows you to separate yourself from the thing that you're building. So if something does fail, you're not sitting in a dark corner. You know, it was very unfortunate. I've been in the startup space for a few years now, and I saw 3 gentlemen that had started about 4 or 5 businesses that made 3 9-figure exits. And unfortunately, one of the gentlemen took his life at the end of it because even with all the money, all these things that he had built, he didn't know how to separate themselves. Like, we don't have enough conversations about how hard it is to build the thing and about what it looks like when we step away from it. Even if we hit the goal, like, they made it. You know, they made it. But they didn't define success for themselves. There was no alignment in that end goal. So once they step away, now what do? If all I've ever done is build things and put my whole energy and effort into this thing, my baby is gone now. So it's good to be aware, good to separate yourself early. And if you weren't paying attention at all, this is my favorite picture ever. Basically, emotions matter in business. They do. And we try to act like they don't. It's the part that we ignore. We're all here for community. We're in this room because we're probably not really going to do a lot of business with each other, but we all sit at home at our computers or at work or in our office with our teams, and it's very easy to get siloed off a bit. So the emotions matter. Effective leadership includes self-leadership. You got to know who you are before you try to tell somebody else what's going on. This is really important to me. One of my favorite recent quotes: people go where they feel welcomed, but they stay where they feel valued. And failure is important. It's going to happen. Be okay with it. Let it go now. The funny thing about this picture, like, yeah, it's cute, it's funny, whatever, but I actually learned how to surf before I learned how to swim. I don't recommend it. It was cool. I lived in Sri Lanka for a few months. And it was this really cool thing that would happen to start the day and the end of the day where you couldn't buy anything. If you were in one of the surf towns, everything was closed at sunrise and at sunset because everybody was in the water together. So it was my best opportunity to learn. And I've been surfing for a few years now, and I'm so bad at it. But it's so much fun because it's one of those things where I am accepting, and I hope you all will learn to accept. Failure is a privilege. It implies that you had an opportunity to begin with, and you were willing to take that step to go out and do whatever the thing was you had in your mind. You went and got feedback from real life. You weren't standing in the mirror having a conversation with yourself or overthinking why you should or shouldn't do it. Just go break shit and see what happens. It's pretty fun sometimes. And then for anybody earlier on in their journey, this is just something that I like to include. A lot of these are either free or they're less than about $20 or $30. Just a software suite that has helped some people that I've kind of coached or mentored, not necessarily worked with directly, that I really enjoy. I don't know if y'all want to take pictures and all that. And then, yeah, let's talk.
Awesome. Let's give Antonio a big round of applause. I love that you're talking about emotional intelligence. More people are doing it, and it's a little late to the game, but it's an important part. I do turnarounds and all sorts of stuff, and it's usually like step one. So well on you. Good on you.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Like when I'm starting with a company, I go, all the information says you're the problem, but you're also the person paying me. So what do I do now?
So how's your business going? Tell me a little bit about, so we got the high level of what you like to do, but what's working about your business? How do you make money? Tell us a little bit about that part.
So I do operations advising. I do just coaching specifically for business owners or executives that are looking to be more self-aware. And then I also offer fractional COO services. I can only take on 1 or 2 clients for fractional COO services at a time. So currently wrapping one up, it's been magical. And a lot of the money just coming from the coaching and consulting. One of the things that's really cool for those fractional services, though, talking about the same things about emotional intelligence while I'm doing it. One of my most recent clients, they originally came to me because they're like, all right, we want more revenue. And then we get into it, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, they're like, well, I actually only want more revenue because I want to start my family. I don't make enough right now for me to be able to bring in an employee so I can start my family. So that's dope. So my last payment from them was actually like a $2,000 or $3,000 bonus, and then like their pregnancy test. It was a little weird, but it was cool because it's like
a picture of it or the actual
No,
test?
they sent me a check
Okay.
and a pregnancy. I was like, I don't really want that, but thanks. Yeah, it was fun to try to explain to my roommates. Anyway, at some point you have enough money. Like honestly, you just do. So what's the rest of it? Because like the money isn't gonna go in the box with me. Like I hope they burn my body and throw me a party when it's all said and done. But yeah.
What's working about your business? What's hard about the business?
What's working is I get to show up like this. Like I get to actually be myself now. Because for a long time in a space where there aren't really a lot of other people in the rooms that I'm in that look like me. And that could be for any number of reasons. So it's dope now to be in a space where I can just show up as myself, whatever that may be in that moment. That's great. The thing that's not working, clarifying the offer. Because I am talking about something that it's intangible. Like, how do you measure if you feel better today? You're just like, nah, sky's too blue. Like, I can't really do anything about that part. But learning to clarify that's something I'm actively looking for. And of course, I'm somebody that is always willing to say, like, I'm failing in this space. This isn't working for me. So I'm actively looking for a coach to be able to clarify my offer and move into whatever my next step is going to be.
Awesome. Questions, thoughts, feedback? Help me pass the mic.
Thank you for that, Antonio. My question for you would be, what's your legacy? What's your vision to go with Century Breeze?
This is always a funny one. It's like I'll use a couple euphemisms. I have the most amazing parents. Like, I really do. My mother is just like a god in my eyes. And my father, very like stoic, old school dude. But even in that, I watched the way that they build for their communities. And I've unfortunately lost one of my parents at this point. But even after losing one of my parents, they actually were able to start, like on their deathbed, were able to start like a scholarship fund. So now every year, like kids from the projects that we grew up in, like 2 of them will be able to go to university completely paid for all the way through their doctorate program. So when we talk about what it looks like, I want that. I'm not sure what it looks like right now because it is important to me to, one, I'll say really redefine entrepreneurship. This idea that like working yourself into the ground is a badge of honor, that's the dumbest shit in the world to me. What are you doing it for? Like, why do we like congratulate each other for running ourselves into the ground? So I'll say that part for sure, redefining entrepreneurship and then getting perspectives outside of our own. The time that I spent traveling was amazing for me as a person because I got to like just be Antonio. I wasn't a young Black American. I wasn't, a kid from this neighborhood or whatever. Like I just got to be Antonio and people were curious and I was great. And I got to see what it looks like when entire countries come together and what you're doing is made to benefit the collective instead of like providing ego and identity for self. So, yeah, I'll lean on that one. Just redefining entrepreneurship for whatever that may look like for us.
Love it.
Hey, Antonio, great presentation, amazing work. We work in similar spaces, but I approach it more from the organizational and branding side. You say your current struggle is explaining to business leaders who may be looking at dollars and cents how your value is defined. I think you can define your value by saying that your work builds higher performing teams. And if they're solopreneurs, it's higher performing entrepreneurs. Because if you understand yourself and your team is on the same page, then the entire team pulls in the same direction. And that will lead to revenue growth, better customer service, better feeling internally in the organization.
I really appreciate that. So, funny enough, I actually put this presentation together this morning because I spent quite a bit of the last few days. My business has, I just made a year not too long ago. So, this presentation in particular was a bit of reflection on when I gave this the first time. And I'm like standing up at the 1MC in Omaha. And what I'll say is significantly more confident in the thing that I offer. But in going through it this morning, there was definitely that thing of, okay, what have I actually done? Like, I've done this work already. I've gotten feedback from real life. And these are the things that people kind of see. The biggest one really has been retention. Whether that be internally, being able to keep a good team, being able to get A players and work with them really good, and then alignment. That part has been the one, like when there's alignment between your marketing team, your sales team, and your operations team, I'm not selling somebody a product that they're not actually going to get. Because we've all had that experience, I feel like, where you get on a sales call and it's amazing, and then you get the product, and you're like, what is this bullshit? I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
So I've been thinking about what you're saying through the lens of, I'm a software engineer now, but I was an elementary school teacher for 23 years. And creating ways to see with children as they grow what those soft skills look like is something that, thank goodness we did. And as I think about, as you talk about, how do you give this thing you can see for such an amorphous area, the first things I think of are like rubrics but people can go, rubrics? I don't want to do that. That's pigeonholing. Not a rubric to see how I can see if someone needs to be laid off or not, but a rubric to see what does this look like? Even going backwards, like where do all these things fit in alignment with where I want it to go? But that was just, I thought, looking at a rubric as a tool to see those things, was very valuable in my life with younger people.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. It's one of those things where I am learning more and more to be able to, I put it in a box to be able to hand it off and explain it to people. I don't put it in a box to make it easier to deliver, because at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some adjustments, some whatever. And the thing,